Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to my updated mod spotlight on MiscPeripherals. Richard G has been hard at work making a bunch of add-ons and other cool things that MiscPeripherals can allow for us. So there's a bunch of things to cover, all kinds of new gadgets and stuff that you can attach to your turtles. Or, since it's the Christmas time, they're actually called elves. So yeah, there you go. But all the turtles and functionality still exist. So I'm going to be covering the MiscPeripherals mod. Let's start checking it out. Alright guys, the first thing I want to show you is the interactive sorter. Now there's some changes that have been made to the interactive sorter that add a little bit new functionality. In the previous video, you saw that as items came into the sorter, they'd land in this one inventory slot. And then the computer could detect when an item lands in here, and it could also tell it what direction to output it to. The new functions that have been added has been a way to read adjacent inventories. So right now you can see I've got some items in this inventory to the right of the interactive sorter. Now if I go ahead and show you the test program I created real quick, I'm simply wrapping the peripheral on the right here, this guy, the interactive sorter, and then I'm telling it to read the contents with the list command. The list command will read the contents of the chest on the direction that you tell it. And 4 is the direction, this direction over here. You can check out which number of directions match up to which by checking on the forum post. Then I print out data, which is actually a table, so you'll see just a table get printed out. And then I loop through all the information and data, and it tells you first what the item ID is, which is like a unique identifier for the item, and it'll also tell you how many of that item are in that slot. Pretty cool. So you can see here we've got, for example, 63 pieces of cobblestone. Then what I'm doing is showing you the extract command. What extract does is it goes to the direction that you tell it. So 4 is the direction that matches up with the chest. The item ID, which we got from the printing, which I'll show you in a second. The number 3 tells it what direction to go in, which happens to be this direction. And then the final number 1 tells it how many of the item to pull out. Pretty neat. So let's give it a shot. If I run the test command, we'll see that here's all the items in the chest next to it. The unique identifiers, the cobblestone is this number right here, which matches up. 829 is the last number with this guy, 829 down here, right? So we're also, when we run this test program, pulling one of the cobblestone out and sending it along the pipe. So you can see here, we've now actually got 62 cobblestone, and one of them landed in the chest over here. Pretty cool. Let's go ahead and run that again. Watch over here. You might have seen a piece of cobblestone zip into that chest. Cool. Pretty neat, right? So every time I run the test command, it pulls out one piece of cobblestone. Not bad at all. If I wanted to pull out multiple pieces of cobblestone, all I have to do is increase this number. So for example, if I tell it to pull out 5 and run the test command, we should see this guy pull out 5. How nice is that? Not too shabby, right? So the interactive sorter is a pretty neat little block that can pull from adjacent inventories and send directionally to different pipes. And it can also read the contents of the chest. Not bad at all. Next up, we've got some nuclear information readers. Now, you might have seen this in my Let's Play multiplayer series while we were testing these, but they're brand new, so I'm going to spotlight them. All you have to do is, if you have Industrial Craft installed, you can get yourself these nuclear reactors. And if you have the nuclear control mod installed, you can craft these remote sensor kits, which you can use with nuclear control to control and read how much heat and how much energy and all this other stuff is going on with your nuclear reactor. So this is actually kind of adding on to that nuclear control mod, which I've done a spotlight in the past, so go ahead and check that out if you're not sure how it works. And there's 2 versions of this. There's the regular nuclear information reader, which only has 1 slot, and there's the tier 2 one, which has 9 slots. Now the recipes for these guys are a little expensive. The early version 1 just requires these items here, and the tier 2 one requires a tier 1 and a nether star. So quite expensive to get that tier 2 nuclear information reader, but it's worth it if you wanted to monitor multiple things. So real quick, I'm going to show you the nuclear information reader by simply attaching a remote sensor to that nuclear reactor right there. Pretty cool, right? And if I get myself some uranium, I'll just get a dual uranium cell and throw it in there. I'm not going to worry about heat right now. And then get a lever attached so I can turn it on when I need. Cool. All I have to do then is place that remote sensor location card, which I got from right-clicking, into the nuclear information reader. Neat. Now, let me go ahead and get a quick test program. Now, if I wanted to, I could go ahead and write my own program, but I feel like now's a good time to introduce you guys to the fact that the Miscellaneous Peripherals mod comes with a bunch of programs built in that you can go ahead and use with your peripherals. So if you're not that great at writing your own Lua programs, you can use some of the built-in ones that Richard G wrote for you. And if you are good at writing them, then go ahead and have fun. All the APIs are there. But we can take a look at reactor control. For example, if I run that program, it's going to go ahead and hook up to the reactor control peripheral over here and start reading some information. Right now it's telling you that it's on cooldown mode and it's used 20 out of the 10,000 possible ticks because it's only used a little bit of fuel so far. Pretty cool. We can also hit M to switch display mode, and you'll see it's also telling you how much heat is inside the reactor because I ran it for a little bit and there's no heat vents going on. It's got currently 480 heat, and it's telling you it's on cooldown mode again because it is turned off. Now if I put some heat vents in there, so for example I were to get some heat vents, I'll go ahead and just get a component and overclocked. That sounds good. Cool. Even put one of these guys in. So the heat vent is cooling the reactor, and you can see now the heat number is going down. Pretty nice. If I turn the reactor on, like so, we'll see that it's now running. And because the heat vents inside are keeping up with the heat isn't growing at all. But we can switch back to the number of ticks, and you'll see that every second it uses up one of the ticks out of the total 10,000. Not bad. I'll switch it back to heat mode and take the heat vents out of here, and you'll watch the heat number rise. So here the heat is climbing, and this built-in test program even has this neat little progress bar. You'll see it start to climb as the heat level rises, and it goes from left to right, and as it gains more and more heat, it's going to go ahead and rise more and more. Pretty cool, isn't it? Yeah, not bad at all. So you can go ahead and jump into this program. Let me turn off my nuclear reactor before it blows up on me. So here we go. Pretty cool. All kinds of neat stuff going on here. So you can go ahead and dig through the program that he wrote to see how it all works if you want, or you can go ahead and just check out, how each of the things, all the different APIs work. Now there's also a Reactor Control 2 program. I'm going to go ahead and break this so it doesn't get confused between which of these peripherals I want it to talk to. Let's go ahead and run that one. Oh, pretty cool. Neat stuff going on here. Let's check it out. I'm going to go ahead and attach an energy sensor kit to my MFSU here and plug this guy in as well. So let's see what happens when we run Reactor Control 2 now. Alright, so I've written a little program here. Simply wraps the peripheral on the left, stores the ID, state, title, and data information into some variables. ID is the ID number of the card. State is whether it's working or not. And the title is a title. If we titled it, like using the nuclear control, you can give a title to each of your cards. And then the most important one is data here, which is all the information that the card can tell you. Now in the first slot is that reactor card that links over to there. And in the second slot is the energy sensor location. You determine the slot with this number here. Right now I'm looking at the first slot. I'm going to print out all that information and then all the information in the data table. Let's give it a shot. Okay. There we go. There's the ID card, and it's telling you it's okay, as in the card is functional. There is no title on the card at the moment, so it's blank over here. We're getting the heat information, whether or not it's powered, the maximum heat, and the time left on the output, and how much EU it's outputting as well. If we flip this guy on, we can go ahead and run this program again and find out that we're outputting 20 EU per tick, and we're building up some heat. That's not good. Better turn it off. Pretty cool, right? Now, as for the MFSU, we simply have to tell it to look at the MFSU card. So let's go ahead and edit this program and tell it to look in slot 2 and now run reactor test. And it'll tell us the ID of the card and whether or not it's okay. It tells me how much energy is inside the storage unit, currently 800. That's correct. I'll go ahead and turn on a reactor just to make it boost up further. And the maximum storage available. So you can read all kinds of cool information out of your MFSUs and out of your reactors using this peripheral. Pretty awesome. Next up, I want to show you guys the tank turtle. This guy is pretty awesome. Simply use an iron tank gauge, which comes from Railcraft, or if you don't have Railcraft installed, you can use Buildcraft tanks, but Railcraft is one to use if you do have it. And then finally, if you don't have either of those installed, you can just use a piece of glass. You get yourself a tank elf that has the ability to store liquids. This guy is really pretty cool. Look at that, he's even got a neat little indicator on the side. Alright, let's check out what we can do. Well, first off, I want to get some liquid. So I'm going to grab myself some water. Sounds like a good thing to do. And I'll get a bunch of water cans from forestry. That should work. Now, if I go into the turtle here and do, let's see, I need to do a peripheral wrap, and it's on the right side. And then do unpack. And what that's going to do is it's going to grab liquid in the current slot and store it in the tank on the left. Let's see what happens. Cool. It grabbed one water can and it put a little bit of water in the slot on the left. Awesome. That is pretty cool. I like that a lot. It returns true or false. Nice. This guy, as far as I can understand it, can store 10, I believe. Yep, we've gotten to the point where it's returning false, and we have 54 cans left, so it can store 10 buckets worth of water. Pretty neat. Okay, let's move it up. Oh, I have to give it some fuel. Alright, before I show you the next piece, I figure I should show you m.pack, which what that does is it takes liquid from the internal container here and stores it in an empty capsule in the selected slot. Cool. So we just drained some water out of the side of the turtle, and we stored it in the empty wax capsule that we've got here. Perfect. You can also, if you want, do turtle dot drop down, and it's actually M. I have to do this with the peripheral. And what that'll do is it'll try and place the one bucket of water that's currently in the slot here below it. You can also do drop, which will do forward, and drop up, which will drop up. Oh, cool. It worked. Nice. I like that a lot. Now let's try putting it in a Buildcraft tank. This should also work in Railcraft tanks as well. So if we do m.drop down, all right, it went ahead and dropped as much as it could. So the drop down function, if there's a bunch of storage and below it, it'll go ahead and drop as much as it can. We can also do suck down. And that will suck up the water from the tank below it into the internal capacitor. And it tells you how many, how much volume it pulled up. 7,000 equals 7 buckets. Not bad at all. And finally, there's m.getLiquid. There's unique identifiers, and this one is this 666915845 is the unique identifier for water. And what that does is it tells you which type of liquid is inside and how much. It's telling you there's 7,000 units or 7 buckets worth. Not bad. Not bad at all. If I went ahead and did a turtle select 1 and m.unpack and then got the liquid, we could see it's the same value here, but now there's 8,000. Not bad. So your liquid turtles, your tank turtles here, can store a bunch of different types of liquids. Any liquid can be stored. If I went ahead and gave it some oil, you can see it can store a bunch of oil in the side tank here. And now if we did the command to get liquid, we'll see it's a different number, a different unique identifier, and we've only got 3 buckets worth. Pretty awesome. And like I said, it will interact with Railcraft tanks and pretty much anything that works with the Buildcraft API for storing liquid, which is now part of the Minecraft Forge API. Next up, I want to show you guys the inventory module. This guy is very powerful. As you can see, it requires a nether star and some eyes of ender, so a pretty expensive item. Just craft that up with a turtle, aka elf. And simply place him on the side of an inventory right here, as you can see. Let's check out what the inventory upgrade can do for us. Alright, so the way this works is there's a couple functions you can check out. First off, I've got the drop sneaky command. What that does is it acts like a sneaky pipe and drops an item into whatever side you tell it. You can use 0 for the bottom and 1 for the top, and 2, 3, 4, and 5 for different sides. The directionals are on the X and Z axis. You can check it out, the details on the forum post. All you have to do, for example, I said 1 is the top. So even though this guy's facing the front, when I tell it to do 1 for the top and 3 the amount of items, boom, it put 3 items in the top slot. Awesome. And if I turtle.select 2 and then tell it to drop 1 piece of coal in the bottom, which is 0, so 0 is the bottom and we're dropping 1 piece of coal, boom. Look, the furnace is running. It actually dropped the coal in there, and it's actually cooking it up. Awesome. If I drop another piece in, there it goes. Pretty neat. Not bad, right? It also exposes the drop function, and with drop, instead of acting like sneaky pipes, you can actually tell it exactly which slot to drop items in. So for example, if I tell it to drop 1 piece of coal in slot 0, it's going to go ahead and drop 1 piece of coal in slot 0. If I tell it to drop 1 piece of coal in slot 3, it's going to drop 1 piece of coal in slot 0, 1, 2, 3. Pretty neat, right? So you can tell it exactly which slots to put certain items in. Not bad at all. Slot 3, 4, 5, 6. Cool, working great. This is a little bit experimental right now, but it seems to be working pretty well. And you can also do the suck functions. So we can do suck 6, we'll do 3, 1. And that should pull 1 piece of coal out of slot number 3. And it'll return true or false as to whether or not it was successful. You also have suck sneaky, which is the sneaky version of suck. So you can go ahead and pull out your coal and your stone and out of the top slot if you wanted to. Pretty awesome. Oh, and what do we have here? Some goggles of revealing with an elf/turtle. Gives you the thumb scanner turtle. Oh, that's pretty cool. Let me show you guys all about what the thumb scanner turtle can do. So the first function I want to talk to you guys about is the ability to read the aspects inside of a bottle or anything really that stores aspects. So you can see here this has 32 fractus inside of it, and you can see all you have to do is run the peripheral command get aspects, and it should tell you all the aspects inside. So let's give it a shot. 32 fractus. Cool. And if I turn left, we'll see that this cauldron has a bunch of stuff in it. So what happens when I run this aspects command? It'll read all of them and tell you exactly what's inside. That is pretty awesome. The other thing you can do is get the aspects on the item you currently have in the highlighted slot. So we can see this lever has 1 each of these aspects. Pretty cool. Now if I run the get item aspects command, it should list for me, what did I name it? Oh, item aspects. It should list for me all the aspects on the item in that slot. Pretty cool. Look at that. Awesome. There's even a command to check out the distance to the nearest aura node. It's awesome. The little arcane goggles going on the side of the elf turtle there. Pretty neat. Totally like how you can check out all the aspects and the aura nodes using that turtle. Now, let's move on to this nifty add-on right here. This guy is called the RTG upgrade. It's a pretty expensive module. You can see it requires a nuclear reactor chamber and a generator and an advanced circuit. But this upgrade is really nice on the elf turtles because it allows you to use uranium as a fuel source. Check this out. Simply grab yourself a piece of uranium. There we go. And throw it into this slot. Now all we have to do is wrap the peripheral. And then do refuel. And it'll go ahead and grab that guy right there. Use the uranium as a fuel source. Now if we do turtle.get fuel level, we'll note that it's only got 5 fuel, and a few seconds later it's got 6. What happens is this upgrade slowly but surely converts that uranium into fuel. Pretty neat, right? So every about 1.5 seconds, or 32 ticks if you want to know the exact number, it's going to give you 1 fuel level. And it lasts for quite a long time. I think it lasts almost 14 real-life hours per piece. So go ahead and throw a piece of uranium in there, and it will slowly upgrade and give you a bunch of fuel. So lots of fuel generated from uranium, but slowly over time, not all at once. Alright guys, next up, for the modular force field bands out there, there's an MFFS turtle. Just take an MFFS multi-tool next to an elf, and you should be good to go. Hook that guy up with an energy crystal. As you know, you need to charge your force energy crystals inside this little guy right here, and we should be able to charge up our force energy crystal. This turtle can do a bunch of cool things. Let me show you guys all the nifty things that the MFFS elf can do. First off, you're going to want to create a security card for your turtle if you want with m.createCard. Boom. And he gets turtle number 7, his own little personal security card. Cool. And I can go ahead and place that security card inside my MFFS security station and give him all the rights in the world. Anything that I want to give him is good. Cool. He's sitting right in there. Now that I've given him access to this force field that I've got running right here, see, it's linked to the security station, I can tell the turtle to do a couple things. For example, he can do teleport. And if he has access, he should be able to teleport through the security field. So if he runs into a force field, he can teleport right through it using that command. Now note that it used some energy out of the force crystal in his inventory, so every time you create a card or teleport through, it's going to use a little bit of force energy. So keep that in mind. There's a couple different things you can do otherwise. You can use the switch tool if you want. Remember that the switch you can use to turn on and off your projectors or on and off other things. So if we give this turtle the m.switch command, he should be able to switch on your force field for you. And of course m.switch again to switch it off. So that's the same as using your multi-tool in switch mode. Nice. Finally, you can go ahead and access a secure storage, assuming the turtle has the security required to access it. Simply wrap the storage to this chest function, and then you can do chest.drop, and it'll be able to place items inside the chest, and chest.suck to pull them out. Awesome. And do note that the up and down versions of most of these commands are also available. And now we've got one of the things that I recommended to Richard G, the Turtle Teleporter. Needs a block of obsidian, some Eye of Ender, and some Ender Pearls. This guy is pretty cool. All you have to do is walk over to your first Turtle Teleporter and right-click with a redstone repeater to start the link. And then walk over to the destination and right-click again, and you'll note that it's linked between the two teleporters. Now, simply have your turtle move over there. So we'll do turtle.forward. And get your turtle on top of the teleporter. Do note that each teleporter has an active face that it faces, so you have to connect it and put the turtle on the blue side, and that's the side that'll let the teleport happen. Turtle.forward once more. Pretty awesome. Now, let's get this guy moving. Simply wrap the peripheral to the teleporter and execute the teleport command. Ta-da! The turtle has now been teleported to its destination. However, do note that it costs twice as much fuel to do this. So, yeah, make sure that you have a lot of fuel inside your turtle if you're going to be teleporting any long distances. Now, if we try and wrap the peripheral again and teleport, note that it fails. The reason for that is because we have to link these both directions. So I only told this teleporter to come over here. I didn't tell this teleporter where to link to. So I'm going to link him back to this side. Boom. And now we can issue the teleport command. Just needed to reset this guy. Now that he wrapped and this had a destination, he was able to teleport back. Awesome. We've got another teleporter here. I wonder where this guy goes. Let's find out. I'm just gonna go in here, get a peripheral wrapped up, and teleport. Ah, there he is. Awesome. Turtles can now warp using the teleporter from one dimension to the next. Thanks, Miscraft. You're awesome. Just note, guys, that teleporting a turtle across dimensions is rather expensive from a fuel level. I currently have 9,600 fuel, and if I do a teleport back across the dimensional nether, let's find out where we go. Ah, right back here. Awesome. If I get the fuel level on this guy, you'll note that it's down to 4,000. So that used 5,600 fuel. That's like pretty much an entire stack of coal. So be a little careful when you're teleporting across dimensions. Uses a lot of power. Here's a nifty little block. It's called the player detector. All you have to do is craft one of these up and place it next to a computer. The computer, all you need to do with that is wrap the peripheral and then issue an os.pull event command and store the event identifier and the parameter that it returns in separate variables. Then you can print them out, and what's this guy do? Well, it's pretty neat. Simply, whenever anybody walks up and right-clicks on the block, it'll tell you the name of the player. You could use this for some kind of security systems. There's actually a couple things you could do. So imagine I had a door and I had a list of players that were allowed to walk in my door by player name. Simply have them right-click on the block, and if they're allowed, then emit a redstone signal. If they're not, then don't emit a redstone signal. Pretty neat. And finally, guys, we've got this awesome tool. It's called the Computer-Controlled Crafter. Needs an interactive sorter, which you guys have already seen, some redstone, and 4 crafting tables to make this nifty-looking block. Now, the top slot here is a computer-controlled crafting table. You can't manually place items in it. It has to be controlled by the computer. Down in the bottom here are some buffers where you can control, you know, what items are in there and what not. So let's go ahead and try something real quick. I'm going to show you the craft bench function, which wraps the peripheral on the left, this guy, and there's a set pattern command right here. What that is, you can tell it from starting from the top left all the way across, so first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth variable that you can pass in certain numbers that correspond to the inventory slots in the bottom here. So this is inventory slot 0, this is slot 1, 2, and 3, for example. Okay. So what I'm doing here is setting a pattern of 0, 0, nothing, 0, 0. What that will do is it'll put wood, which is in the 0 slot, here, here, nothing, here, here. So that's going to go like that. And that'll give us a crafting table. You can see I already tested this. It's going to print out that the crafting pattern was set, and then it's going to issue the craft command, and the number 10 here tells it what slot or inventory position to put the crafting table after it's done. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is the 10th crafting slot. So once we run this command, which is craft bench, boom, crafting pattern set, craft complete. You'll note that it now set the crafting pattern, tells you what it's making, and it made a crafting table for us. Awesome. I also created a craft reset command, which just resets the computer-controlled thing. It's pretty easy. We just copied what we had there, and we passed in nil for the crafting pattern. Okay. Now, one more that I made is craft piston. Pretty simple. It sets the pattern to 0, 0, 0, which will be wood across the top. And then 1, 2, 1, which in the middle will be cobblestone, 1, iron, 2, cobblestone, 1. And then finally 1, 3, 1, which will be cobblestone, redstone, cobblestone. And then I'm going to have it craft it into slot 11. Pretty cool. Let's give it a try. Boom. Crafting complete. Made me a piston. Awesome. That's actually kind of cool. I'm really a little excited about that. That's really neat. You can, of course, then use a turtle to pull from a certain position if you want, especially if it has that inventory thingy on it. So that's pretty neat. I think that's going to be actually pretty useful. What you can also do is run a list command, which I named list contents, which will list the contents in the buffer slots, the bottom down here. So you can see here when I run list contents, it'll tell me there's 60 of something. That's probably the cobblestone. And there's 63 of something else. That's probably either the iron or the redstone. There should be another block with 63. Yep. 53, which is the wood, 2 crafting tables, and 1 piston. Pretty cool. So the list command is shown here. Oops. There we go. m.list. And finally there's m.get, and you can specify a slot number, and it'll tell you the unique ID in that slot. So if I said, you know, m.get 3, it should tell me the redstone. Let's try that out real quick. So there we go. Slot 3 is equal to m.get 3, print slot 3. Boom. It printed out whatever's in slot 3, which is probably one of these two numbers. Yeah, ends in 925. That's probably it. So that printed out what was in slot 3, which is the redstone unique identifier. Pretty awesome. Now, I should also note that he's working on a tree analyzer. For anybody who's been following along with the forestry tweets from Sengir, there's going to be a new tree breeding system similar to the bee breeding system in forestry, and there'll be a tree analyzer that works very similar to the bee analyzer. But I'm not going to show that just yet because I don't have the beta version of forestry installed here, and I don't know that the tree analyzer is ready just yet to be shown. But I want to give you guys the heads up that that's coming. And with that, I think we can wrap up the MiscPeripherals Spotlight Part 2. You can see there's a bunch of new toys that have been added to MiscPeripherals with a lot of interaction with a lot of different mods. Everything from Thaumcraft to nuclear control to MFFS, some automated sorting, some automated crafting, some really cool stuff you can do with turtles if you really get into the turtle programming. And honestly, turtle teleporters are probably my favorite, probably because it was my idea. Kind of explained to him what I wanted there. I also told him that I want a Mark II turtle teleporter where the turtle can wrap the peripheral and set its destination, so that maybe the Mark II teleporter, which will be a more expensive version, can be customizable so that the turtle can say, hey, I want to go to this guy over here, and he'll be able to somehow do that. So that's my homework for Richard G. Let's see if he pulls it off or not. And by putting this in a video, hopefully it puts a little pressure on him to actually do it. Alright guys, this is Direwolf20 signing off on the MiscPeripherals Spotlight. Hope you enjoyed checking it out, and take it easy.